Hello friends, we're walking along. This is Val's Drive-In. It's actually an old-fashioned drive-in restaurant that has been here since 1959. They have these young waitresses that come up and take your order. When they're open, they are closed for the season. But anyway, I just wanted to show it to you. Really cool place. Come and have lunch sometimes. So today, I'm walking 5 miles. You can come along with me if you like. I am walking to City Hall in Lewiston. I could take my car, but I want to walk. The sun is out. It's in the mid-30s. A little breezy today, but it's pretty good. I should get a nice sweat going easy. Tomorrow is going to be in the upper 30s, and Friday is going to be 40. And we're going to have almost 50 when we go shooting Saturday. So we're going to get spoiled. Happy February. So anyway, the purpose of my going to City Hall is I am dropping off my Maine primary Republican voting ballot. Primary voting has started February 5th. So that's what I'm doing. And if you're not familiar with ranked choice voting in Maine, which this will be used for this primary, it's used for federal elections only, unless a city like Portland, Maine offers it for their city voting like they do. That's up to each town. So, with that, I'm going to go hand deliver my absentee ballot to the voting box they have outside of City Hall. And a lot of people seem to question that because they hear about voter fraud and things like that. Well, Maine's not one of those states. We have paper ballots. So they came up with ranked choice voting as a way to kind of game the system for Democrats. And I'll explain how in a moment. So they pushed the ranked choice voting initiative on the ballot, and people fell for it, and it barely won. It barely won, just like legalizing marijuana barely won, and constitutional carry barely won. But you win some, you lose some, right? So anyway, we have a whole bunch of candidates on the ballot. We got some guy named Binkley, who is some clown running from somewhere. Make sure I don't get killed as we look up Randall Road. When we had that storm before Christmas, that telephone pole right there was snapped over and lying in the street. So anyway, with ranked choice voting, they have, I forget exactly how many candidates, but you can look at the official ballot online, I believe. So what they did is they have only 3 active candidates on it. As I traverse this ice and stuff. So this is a lot easier than walking in snow, but there's new challenges, but it's not fresh ice, so it's not bad. You get a whole bunch of road dust on it. Offers traction. But anyways, we've got 3 active candidates, and the rest of them have already announced they've dropped out. So Ron DeSantis is on it. Vivek Ramaswamy's on it. Of course, we got Nikki Haley on it. She's an active one. And then this guy named Binkley. Nobody knows who the hell that is. He's got no chance in hell. They're just on there to steal votes from Trump, basically. So that being said, that's where we're going with that. And because of ranked choice voting, you got about 6 or 7 candidates on there, and you know damn well some people are going to vote for Ron DeSantis. So you know damn well some people are going to vote for Ron DeSantis anyway, even though he's not in it, or Vivek, or anybody but Nikki Haley and Trump. And because of ranked choice voting is activated when, and all of these rules are available if you do a search on Google. Ranked choice voting in Maine, rules for voters, any kind of search like that. And you will see the rules on there on how to vote. You can vote for just one candidate with one oval you fill in like you normally would. Or you can vote for as many candidates are on the ballot. But you have to rank them in order of choice, your preference. So let's say you like Trump first, you vote for him as your first choice. Second choice, you like Nikki Haley, which I don't know why that would be. You vote for her as a second choice. So if voting doesn't get to 50% of the vote, ranked choice voting basically replaces a runoff election. Which in theory may be a good idea, but the problem is Democrats game the system here, and they help finance independent candidates that they know aren't going to win but lean left, so they'll be on the ballot. So their ranked choice will end up going to the Democrat before it goes to the Republican, because if you have Biden against Trump and then 4 other candidates and you want to use ranked choice voting, you're not going to vote for Trump and then Biden as your second choice. You're probably not going to vote for an independent either, unless it was a libertarian you actually did like. And then of course you have the write-in option. So the problem I have with the write-in option for Maine is, you know, people are going to write in votes for candidates, and all voting results and write-in candidates have to go through the Secretary of State's office and be approved. So that would be the lunatic, the left-wing lunatic activist Secretary of State of Maine, Shanna Bellows, who has said that if people got the wise idea, if Trump is kept off the ballot, because he's on it now, So we're voting now, and he's on it. So if the Supreme Court doesn't rule in Trump's favor, Trump's candidacy is over, because there's about 23 other states that are going to file the same thing, keeping him off the ballot, and it will literally be impossible for him to win, even if people write him in, because Shenabello's office has already stated that if Trump is off the ballot and you write him in anyway, your vote goes through her office, and they have deemed him ineligible. So your vote will not count if you vote for Trump as a write-in. And the other states are going to do the same thing according to their rules and laws. So basically, if the Supreme Court doesn't support Trump, he's literally done. Which is why you still see Nikki Haley, because they want to make Nikki Haley the candidate now that the other ones have dropped out. And I'm never voting for Nikki. I don't care if she is the candidate. I will write in Donald Trump just on principle, whether my vote counts or not, because that's what matters to me. All of DC can burn for all I care. I'll be ready for civil war at that point. So all gloves are off. Anyways, what I mean by that is there's going to be a lot of civil unrest across the country if they're stupid enough to do that. And they are stupid enough to do that. The weak link, in my opinion, Amy Coney Barrett and Justice John Roberts, I believe, are the weak links that could sink Trump. Despite Amy Coney Barrett being appointed by Trump, she doesn't seem like a loyalist. So, but on the other hand, you may very well see a unanimous decision by the Supreme Court to have Trump on it, like we have seen in other states. Massachusetts, for example, just voted to have Trump on the ballot. Connecticut did as well, and those two states are absolutely far left lunatics. So I think this was an intentional sabotage to make voters think that Trump's not going to be on it and they're not going to waste their vote. And basically it's being done to hurt Trump. And I just saw a report that last year Trump spent $50 million in legal fees. $50 million last year. This year so far, he has spent $78 million. Probably the most expensive series of litigation we have seen to date. And he used a lot of the campaign money people donated. And the media tries to use that like he's using your money, which they don't understand. That's why people donated it for his legal funds and fight. So, you know, they just don't get it. They don't get it. He's using you. He's using you, you stupid suckers. Yeah, we get it. So anyway, so we have all of this stuff going on, and I will tell you that you are not going to know who won the Maine primary on the night of the election. I'll wait till this truck goes by so you can hear me. So anyway, what do I mean by that? Well, because of ranked choice voting, They're going to count the initial votes on election night, March 5th, voting day. So we will have a number on voting day of everybody that voted on March 5th. The initial vote tally. Because as stated, they only activate ranked choice voting if the candidate got less than 50% of the vote. Which leads me to my second part of this. So normally, with normal voting, Trump would probably get 50% of the Republican vote very easily. Especially with all those candidates on the ballot that are no longer running. You know, it should be a cakewalk. But it's not going to be this time because they're instituting a new law in Maine this year for voting for the first time. It's called semi-open primary voting. Now, what does that mean? That means unenrolled voters, that means voters not registered with a party, can vote for Republican or Democrat to pick the Republican or Democrat candidate, even though they're not in a party themselves, which to me is ridiculous. So, with that, it's the first year they do that. And the reason why they're doing that is Trump has won an electoral college vote from our district here, CD2, I mean, Congressional District 2 in Maine. And it's the same one that the Democrat Jared Golden is the congressman for, which I'm predicting he's done after this year because he turned his back on gun owners here. And he's sitting in a Republican district. So he's finished. He's also voted to impeach Trump and other things like that. But now going against guns, that's it. His goose is cooked. And that's because we just found out that two George Soros relatives donated $730,000 to his campaign. Which, if you remember from a previous walk, I had said that explains his 180 that he's done on assault rifles. So, there you have it. It's easy to figure these people out when you know their modus operandi. So anyways, keep my head on a swivel. Oh, I smell some skunk. It's either skunk or somebody smoking pot in their car. Could be both. Anyways, so they put that new rule in. They also changed the rules about switching parties. Typically, you could switch your party to another party within a certain time frame of the election, but then you couldn't change it back after for 3 months at least. And to do so, you have to go to your city clerk in person or do it online and wait for your application to be mailed to you. Then you have to print it out and then bring it to your city clerk's office to change your party. You can't just go online to do it. And that's an important thing because it is winter time. How many people are going to want to go out just to change their party, knowing they'll have to go back and change it back just to screw Trump? Now, you might see some of that. They did in New Hampshire, but it didn't make a difference. In fact, Nikki Haley had more Democrats vote for her than Republicans, which is exactly the point. And Trump still won easily. So I expect something similar in Maine because we have 4 parties here, which is the other thing I wanted to allude to. We have the Republican Party, the Democratic Party, which their name is a joke in itself because they're not Democratic, and you got the Libertarian Party, which certainly do not support this left nonsense, and they're a pretty good independent party in Maine. They're not a joke. And the other one is the Green Party. Now the Green Party is far left leaning. They believe in equity, equality, DEI, all of that liberal nonsense. It's the party of Jill Stein. You remember her? Well, she's talking about throwing her hat in the ring this year also. She won't be on every state's ballot. And so there's that. How is that going to figure into ranked choice voting? I have no idea. I don't know how people are going to vote. I think people have decided that don't like ranked choice voting. They have figured out that they can just vote for their one single candidate they want with one single vote, which is what I did. So none of my secondary votes goes to anyone else. I don't want to put a secondary vote to DeSantis because he's on the ballot and he's not on the ballot, if you know what I mean. And the same thing with Vivek Ramaswamy. So they're wasted votes if people do that. And some people might rationalize that that's the way they're going to do it to screw Trump. So I don't know how that's gonna roll out when they count the votes. But back to what I was saying, if Trump just gets 50% of the vote regardless, ranked choice voting won't even be used. That's the law, which would be the best scenario. Because then we'll know on election night. Hi. So anyway, you can see how that bothers some people when I just cross, not using the buttons to cross with. I crossed in front of one lane that had a green arrow, but the car was far enough away for me to do that. Now, the people across the way didn't know that, and they started walking across because I did. When technically, it maybe wasn't safe for them because she didn't know how to look at that and figure that out, I guess. Because I had time to cross with the green arrow, but she did not, coming from the other side of the street. So I don't know, but kudos to them for not wanting to push the button and be told when to cross the street. And then while you're crossing the street, that button doesn't stop anybody from being drunk driving and driving through a light. So it's not really safer, in my opinion. But anyway, that's how the Maine primary voting is going to go. So remember to check out the Maine website for ranked choice voting. It has a PDF, explains all of the do's and don'ts and what you can do to spoil your ballot, which from what I've seen, the only way you can spoil your ballot is by not filling in a choice at all, or ranking two of them first, because that's double voting, they say, even though you're allowed 6 votes, which is, you can see why it's confusing to people. Maybe they'll say, oh, well, I like Nikki Haley as much as I like Trump. I'm going to vote for both as my first choice. Because they have so many slots open to choose, it might make sense to somebody. But I think a lot of voters have figured out how they game the system. The first time I voted, I chose all the choices because I didn't want my vote to be spoiled. And now I know better. So now I know you don't have to do that. So that's how that works, if you're wondering. So you can just vote for one. It's okay. You're not going to spoil your ballot. And you're not going to have any votes go to anybody else you don't want to vote for. And the point being is, if your first choice is getting to your second choice to begin with, that means the candidate you originally voted for progressed ahead. So your second choice isn't really going to matter, because that goes towards your first choice. And similarly, what other people made for their second choice, and any second choice I would make, they're not on the ballot anyway. So I don't want to end up giving somebody else votes. So we'll have to watch like everybody else to know what the hell happens in Maine. It's going to be interesting, I can tell you that much. It certainly isn't fair. You know, they try to say it is, but it's not. I saw a long time ago on Facebook, some woman voted using ranked choice voting, and she absolutely hated Trump, and she was upset that she had to vote for Trump on ranked choice voting, and she didn't understand how it worked. She chose Trump last, but the point being, she ended up voting for somebody she didn't want to because she felt her ballot would be spoiled. So you have to remember, some people are a couple light bulbs short of a display, you know what I mean? So, all right, we're passing St. Mary's now, St. Mary's Hospital. We're going to take a route as I look over my shoulder so I don't get killed, that we've not seen yet for you. And this walk today is going to come out to exactly 5 miles for me, according to Google Maps for walking. We're going to head down Pine Street. Yes, I'm being brave, because well, I think I'll just go this way. Pine Street is kind of crime infested. Not kind of, it is. We might see some hookers out there. We might see some people keeled over from drugs. We might see all kinds of things. Or we may not see anything at all, since it's the early afternoon and they usually come out at night. It's not uncommon to come down this way and witness someone having a conversation with a telephone pole in just sweatpants when it's 10 degrees out, which it isn't today, but I've seen this before. So some guy was out arguing with a telephone pole with a giant, huge, oversized bowl of Cheerios, bare feet in the slushy, wet snow, and he was just standing there arguing with a telephone pole with no shirt. So basically he just said sweatpants, and that's it. That was a long time ago, when we used to live in that neighborhood, which now we no longer live down there. So, but I am walking through this old neighborhood. I used to walk to school every day. The middle school I showed you in a previous video. We cut through people's backyards, cut right straight through. It's right through there where the Lewiston Armory is. So we'll see who we run into. I carry protection. Hopefully I never have to use it. I really don't want to. Hello. There's our first member of the Walking Dead we see. She looked like she completely did not know how to traverse ice. Obviously an immigrant. Probably first time they've ever seen snow and ice. And they've probably already taken a header or two and hurt themselves in the learning curve. So she looked like she was being very careful. So we're heading down here, and these days this is one of the yards I used to cut through and drop right down that hill. Now there's, yeah, that's still open. You could go right down to the armory that's down there. So I used to have friends that lived down here. Now we got this credit union here, and I used to belong to another credit union on Pine Street, and I changed my membership to another credit union up closer to where I live, because you'd sit in your car and hookers would stick their head in the car and try to hook you. And you know, nobody wants to deal with that when they're trying to do a bank transaction. At least I don't. So who knows what we'll see today? I guess that's my point. I walk through this neighborhood now and I think of that Van Halen song, Mean Streets. All right, walking down here on Pine Street, corner of Pine and Webster. I have no idea what the hell's down here anymore. I know Bork's Market isn't Bork's Market anymore. It belongs to somebody else. There's a little store here of some sort. Don't know what it is. Thank you. See, everybody stopped to let me cross. And their light was green. So point being, you don't have to wait for a damn light, and you don't have to push a button. All right, this is going to get interesting. And see, now the difference today, I'm not walking in snow and I'm not hiking in the woods. I've gone 2 miles in 35 minutes. So that's about 16, 17 minutes a mile, which is a normal time that I usually do. And that's all icy. So I'm gonna go over the snowbank, walk down on the side lane here. It's a one-way street. Cars will be coming towards me. I'll get around the ice that was there, which you can see. A mail carrier up the street. So I'm sweating pretty good now. I'm going to take a walk down to City Hall. In the bad part of town, the west side. The west side of Lewiston. I don't see too many people outdoors. Oh, that guy's really heavy. He's wearing shorts. Braver than I am today. It is about 33, 34 degrees. The stuff is starting to melt. And I'm definitely getting warmer. Now down that way is La Colisée and the Lewiston High School. So down that way. And I think I'm going to take my gloves off. My hands are sweating. So let's walk down this way. And it's another thing too, where I hope nobody sees a GoPro on my head and they try to run by and snatch it. So I got my head on a swivel too. Doesn't mean they won't snatch it. Still recording. All right. So, walking along in what looks like soon to not be a winter wonderland. Garbage on the side of the road, of course. Garbage everywhere down here. Now you can see how dirty it is down here. And lived for many years on that street in that building, which now looks almost like an olive green siding. This used to be a store I would stop in on the way to school. I went to Jordan School up there, that brick building at the end of the road, which is now called the Jordan School Apartments. Turned it into housing. There used to be a store in here. This is where I would buy my bubblegum cards and things like that on the way to second grade, which nowadays, if you let your second grader walk a couple miles to school every day, you're insane. Shouldn't do that. So we had some very cold walks to school, let me tell you. A couple of below zero mornings. Very cold. Hi, hello. And we'll walk up this way. Used to be a building here on the corner, torn down. And this building is looking bad. I used to have an aunt living in that building, right there. That's the credit union I was telling you about. We had to deal with hookers outside when you wanted to go in. And you get all these foreigners, immigrants that came here, and they're all wearing masks. Kills me. I don't get it. I guess we know what they're watching, unfortunately. Hello. Hi. Let's come down this way and be friendly. She definitely had that look on her face like she doesn't like whitey. So they've bred a whole bunch of racists. So I'm really unfortunate, and that's why I keep my head on a swivel down here. And I don't recall seeing this, but we got a whole bunch of nails in the ground, and we have a giant hammer. Well, that was on my list of things I didn't expect to see today. Now let's walk by the store here. People hanging outside.
Not even making a complete stop at the stop sign, we gotta run.
What was it, the mine?
Yeah.
Go quick yet. I didn't even link.
Yep, you saw that right, folks. That guy was carrying an AR rifle. Not illegal in Maine. So that guy doesn't look like he would be somebody that would own one, because for one thing, he wouldn't be walking around with it. I saw the chamber was locked open. There was no magazine in it. And I had a cable lock in it, I think. I'll check back on the video. So it didn't feel threatening to me, since I'm familiar with firearms. But it makes me wonder if they stole it and they're walking around to go sell it. Because I can't see any reason why somebody would be walking around the neighborhood with it, standing outside of a store. So over here, it looks like they're renovating a house, putting a new foundation, looks like. This is an old historic building, that's why. It's on the list of historic sites. And I believe it was a funeral home for a while. Carefully walking on ice. So it kind of looks like a Norman Bates house from Psycho. It's that kind of architecture. I've always liked this house. I'm glad they're renovating it. It's on the list of historical sites, so it's protected. And that's something I actually agree with, if they do that within reason. And it looks like we've got more construction going on here. And this is part of the infrastructure bill to house immigrants. So I wanted to come down here and show you what they're doing. And they're building. It's a construction site. I can only go so far without a hard hat. Someone will probably tell me to get out of here. But we got all of these right here being built. And we got work going on there. So there's a new complex that's going to be built here. They're renovating this house, the Bates Mill, the Bates house, Norman Bates, Psycho house. And I used to live on this street a long time ago. And there was a couple of huge fires on the corner years ago. A lot of these buildings use balloon construction, and they need to be renovated anyway or torn down because they're unsafe. And they used sawdust and shredded newspaper, blown in insulation. So when you have an electrical fire, guess what happens? And portable sanitation, so they're here to clean the commodes, the porta potties. He's gonna pull right up there, and I'm not gonna stick around and watch him suck up some crap. I'm gonna go vote. But I just wanted to show you what was going on down here. A lot of work. That beautiful building. So this has been in need in this neighborhood for a long time to have new housing. So it looks like we're going to get some. So we're continuing on. There used to be a movie cinema down here, which is gone now. It was the Parkview Cinema. I saw a Moonraker here. I saw The Jerk here. I saw Cheech and Chong's next movie here, and quite a few other ones. I saw First Blood here, and let's cut through here. This is all thawed out, so there's no ice there, which is good. Now we got a kind of a garden thing here. Little palm trees or some kind of vegetables. No, it's not palm trees. I don't know what that's supposed to be. They're obviously frozen frost damage. They're waiting for spring so they can replant. And the reason why I took my gloves off is if I need to protect myself, obviously. Better to do that with no gloves on, because all I gotta do is lift my hoodie. And I'm wearing thicker gloves that are not conducive with easy shooting. The gloves I wear to the range, I should have wore those today because they're batting gloves. So now we're down here at Kennedy Park, almost where I'm gonna go vote. I want to go get a shot of the gazebo, and I think we'll go down this way, since that's the way that goes. Well, we'll see what happens here. Head on a swivel, peripheral vision. That's why I don't wear my hoodie, so nobody does a snatch and grab. And let me tell you, it doesn't matter what the skin color is in this neighborhood. Everybody is going to snatch and grab. So that's the Lewiston Police Department right there. And that night that mass shooter was on his rampage, they were quite busy down there. Saw them organized live online on the Sun Journal newspaper web stream. This is the gazebo, which I have not been here for years. There used to be a staircase right here, I believe, or over here. It was one of these two. I think it was that one. And might have been this one. And they're kind of both pointed towards that walkway. So anyway, it's been renovated. Got security cameras. I'll wave hello. So that's nice. They get security cameras mounted. Don't know if they work or not. I'm filming right back at them. Yep, you and me, bub. So, wheelchair charging station with a broken cable. So, there you go. That's why we can't have nice things. Maybe somebody took off with their wheelchair while it was plugged in, ripped it off. Now that is the Civil War statue that is now facing in the direction it should be. It used to be facing that way. Then it was facing this way. They took it off to clean it, restore it, they bring it back, and they had it facing the wrong way. And now they have it in a direction, to me, that makes sense. President John F. Kennedy spoke here. Lyndon Johnson spoke here. See, right here. Presidential candidate Henry Lodge. Presidential Hubert Humphrey, candidate, 1964. Lyndon Johnson, 1966, as president. Senator Edward Kennedy, 1978, presidential candidate. So that's a list of people that have spoken here, who now have to see it in the current state. So we're going to cut across here. I'm going to go to City Hall and put my ballot in their absentee ballot box, which I can see it from here. So I think that's it. I don't think they took it out unless somebody vandaled it. Now this person's walking across. There used to be a water fountain. There's still pictures of it online if you do an exhaustive search. But when we were kids, we used to come down swimming in the city pool, which we had the kids pool here. Then we had the adult pool, big kid pool over there with a 10-foot deep end. And we used to live up on Blake Street. We used to live on Maple Street, way down by that brick building at the end of the park. Way down. So there used to be a water fountain right here, right in the middle of this intersection, which was nice. There's a time capsule buried there from 1976, 77. When I was a kid, I remembered they buried that. It's to be opened 100 years later, in 2076. So we still have a ways to wait. So the changing house here has been removed. They made basketball courts, so the little pool's no longer there. I don't even know if they still use the big pool or not. They still have the lifeguard tower. I would think they would, because they have a small end and a deep end. There's really no purpose in having a kiddie pool here other than small babies and kids, which makes sense, I guess. And over here we have the infamous Simone's hot dogs. World famous hot dogs. That's where you always see those interviews with Susan Collins, senator, who likes to go in there and eat wieners. So I'll leave that one alone. So, cut across here. We got City Hall at the road here. And this time of day it might be safe in this neighborhood, but it's not a guarantee. At night it's definitely a different story. But I was happy to see security cameras at the gazebo. A friend of mine used to live here. I used to play guitar with. His name was Todd. I won't say his last name because I don't know if he wants me to. He did run afoul of the law at one point. He did some time for drugs. Something I was never tempted to get involved in, even though I was asked many times. It's one of those things, you make personal choices. You should know better. So now I'm over here. See if we can get my, see if I can get it out of here. There we go. There we go. I just voted. That is the official ballot drop-off box right there. So that's good. Now we'll head back, and we're getting a wind now. Now it's a little chilly. So I don't know where this came from all of a sudden. So anyway, I just voted for Donald Trump in the primary. Take that, you godless heathens. So, continue. It's the Lewiston Public Library right there. Both these buildings, they're connected together. That is the Lewiston Sun Journal. I don't think they're in there anymore. It looks like their sign is gone. So they are a casualty of fake news because they lost many subscriptions. They won't admit that though. City of Lewiston Kennedy Park, established 1862. So I have no idea where the Lewiston Sun Journal is now located, but it does not look like it's in that building. So we'll continue on and we'll head back. Same route I took basically, but the opposite direction. I'll cross the street and walk on the other side of the street. Up here somewhere. Might as well get a full view, right? As, this does look nice in the summertime. They had some Black Lives Matter protests down here a while back. Hi. I know that person. What's her name? What is her name? I think she was a sister of a friend of mine. I'm talking 40 years ago, and I'm coming up with a blank. But I know her face. She just looks 40 years older. Don't we all, right? It'll come to me. So, we're walking along here. I'm going to cut across to the other side. This is that's the Civil War Memorial statue that I got very, very angry with. And protesters had spray painted Black Lives Matter on it. Well, the city councilwoman was standing right there And she didn't do anything to stop it. She encouraged it. She was radical Democrat city councilwoman. Thank you. Thanks. As we see that squirrel looking for a nut. His back is scarred up. He probably got into a tussle with a cat, a stray around here or something. Looks like he found something to eat. Good traps here, rat traps. That's what you do in a rat infested neighborhood, I guess. So now we're heading back. Gouvreau place. Gouvreau. So down here we have a mix of gangbanger wannabes and actual gangbangers. So that's the difference. The actual ones are not very nice. There's shootings down here quite often, I have to be honest, while you're watching this. It's not the same as it used to be. If you're watching this from out of town and you used to live here, and you found the video by way of searching YouTube, see, like that right there, that's a red flag. And pull your pants up, man. Pull them up. Somebody sitting on the curb down there, obviously having some kind of problem, maybe drugs, more than likely. I got a couple of look like homeless people with bags of bottles, just walking around trying to pick up empty bottles to buy something. Now this guy's body language, he looks loosey-goosey. He looks like he thinks he's all tough. Yo, what up? Look at him. So there's the construction again, construction site. Pretty good size. Looks like they got a lot of different things going on. Hello.
Hi.
It's a Van Halen song, Mean Streets. There is the absolutely beautiful St. Peter and Paul Cathedral. Has been here since, forget when it was built. Might have been late 1700s, early 1800s. And the information's probably online. I'm probably wrong on that. I'm just assuming that because it's always been there. It's a historical landmark. Been to a couple funerals in there. Sure, I'll be going to a couple more. That is the way of things. We got people here with empty bags of bottles. I'm gonna go cash in. There's probably literally just 20 bucks in those 3 bags. 5 cents a can. A lot of work for 20 bucks. All I'm saying. There's easier ways to make money than that, as we have gay dog paws. That's interesting. Community Critters, Lewiston Strong. So we got Fortin Funeral Home over here. We got the Credit Union Bank over here. ATM. Now, and this freaking guy standing here with an ATM there. And he's fidgeting around for his card. He's legit. He's legit. So we got a night drop box. I can just imagine what gets dropped in there. There's bent metal on the bottom. Looks like somebody thought they could get something out of it. And there's trash all over. I mean, would you want to use this bank, really? I mean, look at it, there's trash. People rummage through the trash here looking for empties. Wow. Well, I wanted to come down here and see how bad it is. And here I am. See if I can walk a few miles back home. Yeah, and this is a very short distance from what's considered a rural neighborhood here, because it's not a big city. So it's like you walk just a couple miles. It's like night and day. Night and day. It's crazy. So the infrastructure is worn down. Buildings are all worn down. The people look worn down. Everything is run down, worn out, used. People look used. Ooh, nice Mustang there though. Look at that. Ooh, that's nice. GT. GT, white racing stripe. Pretty to look at. I'm glad I own a Mustang. I like it a lot, actually. It's not the biggest and the greatest, but it's mine. And it's a Mustang. I've always wanted one. Alright, so we got a homeless person up here with a cart. Or as we're supposed to call them now, unsheltered. Like that makes things better. Homeless and unsheltered mean the same thing. That's it. Hopefully you don't want anything. Let's see what happens. Hi Chief, how you doing?
Not bad, how are you?
Pretty good. What's going on?
You got your walking shoes on, huh?
Oh yes sir.
You're going to be doing a lot of walking today.
I'm enjoying my day.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't give off any threatening vibes. So we'll continue on. We will. There was a kid I used to know as a kid, went to school with. His name was Eric. I won't say his last name. He used to live here. Then there was another one on the next street. His name was Adam. I was pretty good friends with him. I believe his mother still works as a librarian for the Lewiston Library we saw. I haven't been in there for a couple, 3 years, but when I did go in there, she was still there. So, now this used to be Bork's Market, and it was purchased. I went in there once to buy something to see what it looked like. The shelves were dirty. They looked disgusting. But they get their Lewiston Strong logo here. Yep, freaking Walking Dead. So, friend Adam used to live down here. Used to go over his house. He had cable. Would watch cartoons. Afternoon cartoons, banana splits and stuff like that. The banana splits, man. So, hope you enjoyed walking with me to vote. Voting is important. This is going to be my voting video, City Walk Edition, I think I'll call it, or something similar. Go over here. See that car coming up too fast. Make sure he's not turning this way. See? That's why you keep your head on a swivel and you don't rely on lights on a pole. Right there. That guy was driving way too fast. And because there were cars parked over here, they wouldn't have seen me coming out from behind that van that's parked there. And they would have just come around here and either hit me or almost hit me, or they would have saw me and had to brake real quick. But the point is, a lot of staying safe when you're walking is reading the play like that. You always got to be a step ahead of other people. Fortunately, in my life, I've only been hit by a car twice on a bike because of people not paying attention. So it gets your attention. One of them didn't have insurance, so they actually went with me to a bike shop and bought me a new tire for the bike, because they tacoed it. They turned my bike tire into a taco shell. They paid for it. They didn't want the hassle of not having insurance, which is illegal in Maine to not have insurance. Now it looks like I am going to have to cross on the other side. I'll go up this way though, because I'm reading the play. So I think at some point the Postal Service is going to be swapping over to electric vehicles. That should be fun to watch, especially here in the winter time. Let's see what happens with that. That should be comical. So we'll see what they get. We'll see what they waste tax dollars on. Probably see them more in the big cities first, so they can make it look like they're doing something, establishing a new era of electric and hybrid vehicles. I wonder if there'll be hybrids. As far as I know, they're going to be electric. So there's absolutely no infrastructure in Maine for electric vehicles, or very little of it. There is an electric charging station at an Irving up the street here. I have no idea what that costs or if it's free. I doubt it. I doubt it's free. I could be wrong on that. But I'm doing good walking time today. So this is a nice vigorous walk, even though it's not a overly difficult one as far as footing goes. Sidewalks are pretty much clear. Now, even just 5 or 6 years ago, this was not the case. They didn't have the sidewalk cleaning capability they have now. So many times we'd go a week and a half after, if we got like 2 big storms in a row, and sidewalks wouldn't get cleared. And when that happens, the mail doesn't get delivered. So you go 2 weeks without getting your mail, and you'd have to make a trip to the post office and pick it up yourself, which was down the way we just came, right in the neighborhood of that city hall where I voted. So you drive down there to pick up your mail. And now sometimes they clean the sidewalk before they're even done plowing the roads, which I can tell when they go by they're pretty much done plowing. So they're very well organized. They have different vehicles that do that. And another problem we had before is vehicle would break down and they only had like one major one to do the streets with because they're expensive. Now they got like 3 or 4 of them, so they always have one available. One has the auger snow cleaner type snow blower, big giant diesel thing, and a couple of the other ones have the pointed plow on the front. So this is another old neighborhood. The street used to run right up here. They closed this off and they put a little turning thing there. Don't know how necessary that was, but it is easier to use over here this way, I will admit. I just don't know how much easier it was than before. So you can see the old curbs. Street used to go right by here onto this one with the yield sign. They felt that was better, I guess. Easier to go down that way instead of feeling like you have to go this way and doing a weird turn. So that definitely makes sense. All right, it's getting windy, sun's hiding now. I'm gonna go back to putting my gloves on. I'm entering the more safe zone. On top of that, I'm gonna go on the other side of the street as soon as this car goes by. Thank you, thanks. So we'll go up here. That's called Christian motoring. There's a lot of that in Maine. People will actually stop and let you cross. I wasn't at a marked crosswalk, so I certainly didn't have to do that. So thank you kindly, whoever you were. So, we mailed the ballot. I made sure I signed it on the back, got my signature on it, double checked to make sure I checked off the correct oval for Mr. Donald J. Trump for president for the Republican Party candidate. Today is February 5th. 4th, 5th, 6th, something like that. I think it's the 4th, 5th, I believe. If I'm wrong on that, I'm not going to take out my phone and look. So, the woman in my ear says I've walked 4 miles in about an hour. So that's not too bad a time. It's actually pretty good. I think that's what she said. I was thinking about what I was going to say while she was talking. But I do know I'm doing 15 to 17 minutes a mile. So, can't be too far off. So, we're going to keep walking. Got about another 1.25 miles to go, I'm guessing. So Google Maps was not completely accurate. It said 2.5 miles there, 2.5 miles back. And it looks like it's going to be a little extra. I did walk through the park and stuff, but I don't think that really added anything. I got an open drive-through. Aroma Joe's. A couple of people at the window ordering something, talking off to the side. So, feeling good today. I had a spot in my lower back bothering me for the past week and a half, and then I stretched out in bed one morning after I woke up, and I felt something pop. Now it feels better. And I mention that because we're passing a chiropractic place, and I don't trust these people. They always want to drop their weight down on your hip and pop your hips, and I got a bad disc. It's not going to feel good. I know it's not. It's not going to help me. Acupuncture might help though. I do believe that would help. Some people don't believe in it, think it's crazy, but there's too many testimonials from normal, intelligent people that swear it does something. So, and it's been around for a long time. The question is the person doing it, do they know what they're doing? That's really the question. So you go read a few reviews, filter out the idiots just leaving negative comments because they got a bill they didn't like or something. Now we're going to cut across here. Using my peripheral vision. Always walk safely. See? How hard was that? Wow, look at that. Free Vax vacuum service. I wonder if that is free with the purchase of something or if it's just free. It says pay here, go through the car wash. It might be free after you've had your car washed, maybe. Try our free vacuums. And get free vacuums to hook people in there. It's a good idea. Three-month unlimited wash pass for 60 bucks. It's the golden nozzle. It's called the golden nozzle car wash. Golden nozzle. Do you have a golden nozzle? So speaking of golden, Democrat Congressman Jared Golden issued a statement on the Republican House led by Mike Johnson, refusing to even take up the border bill, dead on arrival, that Chuck Schumer and Senator Lankford, two absolutely corrupt sons of bitches we need to get out of government, who are tying in Israel aid and Ukraine aid into a watered down border bill, just so they could say Biden signed something for the border, he cares. And it doesn't fix anything. They need to get rid of catch and release. They need to start mass deportations. And they shouldn't have a problem with it because Obama, all right, Obama deported well over 1.5 million people, illegals, deported them. So he started getting buried, and then Trump came into office and took care of the problem. We didn't have a problem. We really didn't. We had places with beds in it that were mostly empty. It was working. He got defeated on the catch and release thing by the courts because Congress has to pass laws getting rid of it, and then the courts will abide by it. So that is a federal issue that Congress needs to fix. So the senators put together a border bill, the Democrats I should say, that was just more watered down friggin' milquetoast, uncommon sense stupidity. And these new Republicans in the House are not going to approve it because the Democrats try to force this stuff through by putting Israel funding and Ukraine funding in a border bill. What the hell does Ukraine and Israel have to do with our border on the south? Absolutely nothing. So there's that. And well, there you have it. I mean, that's really the gist of it. The new Republicans want a border bill, and they want Israel and Ukraine funding separate. And they need to stick to that, no matter what happens. No matter what happens. The media is going to try to blame the Republicans. They're going to play the politics game. That's expected. We know that. But I think in this day and age, much less people are relying on the mainstream media. And I think the Republicans can get away with doing that now without getting any backlash, which is nice. The whole media system is falling apart here. If you're watching from overseas, you don't have that problem. You have the media as a state-run TV controlling everything. We don't have that here. Now, they're still the biggest, most funded, but all of these news agencies have been laying off hundreds or thousands of workers. They're losing money. Washington Post lost over $100 million. And they're bankrolled by Jeff Bezos, who owns Amazon. So he just keeps pumping money into it. But it's a losing entity. Things are changing. Things are changing. Hi, doggy. Hi. Haven't seen you for a while. So, things are changing. Keep the faith. Perfect example. The big news story today was Tucker Carlson interviewed Vladimir Putin. He went to the Ballet in Russia, and you have a bunch of online leftist Democrats and people that claim they're Republican, but they're disguised. They're actually Democrats disguised as Republicans. There's a bunch of accounts that do that. And you know what they are. They're anti-anyone that supports Trump. So Tucker Carlson's public enemy number one went to Russia, and a lot of these leftists are saying Tucker Carlson should not be allowed back into the country in the United States because he's Putin's puppet. So they're going on with that without realizing, I guess, that many journalists have interviewed Vladimir Putin over the years, including Barbara Walters. They're just upset that Tucker did it and Putin won't talk to them. So they're angry that Tucker Carlson got one of the scoops of the year after forcing Tucker Carlson off Fox News through the Dominion voting machine lawsuit, which Fox News just agreed to pay it instead of fighting it because they're weak. And part of the clause in that was they had to make sure Tucker Carlson lost his job. That was tied in with the lawsuit. So now Tucker's out doing his own thing, and he's going to be bigger than he was before. His videos on X are getting millions and millions of views every video he posts. Plus he has his own subscription service like Bill O'Reilly did when he left Fox News. And there's just a better market for that. There's better markets for independent journalism now because people are fed up with the mainstream. And I feel really badly for you people in Europe and Australia and Canada who don't have those options. Rebel News is really good out of Canada. They cover Australia too, but they always have people going after them, lawsuits, threats. They've been deemed as people supporting domestic terrorism. So they did the domestic terrorism trick in Canada with the trucker convoy protest. They did it with the J6 one in America. And more people are waking up to it than you realize, because the new NBC polling has Biden, and this is NBC's own poll, it's the worst a president has done since the second term of George Bush, because of the Iraq war and all that stuff. Joe Biden is got one of the worst poll numbers ever recorded in our history, and the Democrats are worried. And they should be, because we're seeing celebrities coming out who used to hate Trump who are now going to support him. So I've been seeing videos of black activist groups in Chicago saying we're going to start supporting Trump, because the Democrats are giving all their free stuff to illegals while black citizens are starving to death. So the Democrats are screwing over their own voters, and they're taking notice. We're seeing that in New York. Mayor Adams is getting a lot of backlash. He's been forced to actually force immigrants out of places that they were housing them at great cost, I should add. But shouldn't they have thought of that before they pumped all these people in here? And on top of that, if they're doing it to redistrict and get more legislators in each state, and also more congressmen because of population and districting, because the illegals count towards that. When they do the next census, it will add seats for one party or the other. So they wanted to house all these immigrants in Democrat places in Texas so they could flip Texas blue. So I will edit that portion out of the video, but that was my cousin, one of them. She just got off a work shift in the neighborhood and she's walking home. She never learned how to drive. She's in her 50s. She's always worked in her neighborhood and walked to work, or had boyfriends that would drive her around. And you know, everybody's different. That's really good. I love walking. I don't have to walk. I got a car. I like walking. So here's a Hannaford's supermarket up here, and we're gonna head on. We're gonna heading on. My hands are sweating. I'm gonna take my gloves off. Yep, my hands are wet. That's good. Means I got a good body sweat going. My body's trying to cool off. It is chilly. It's not cold though. It's tolerable. We're at 4.97 miles. Still recording. I don't know how much time I got left. Actually, I'll look at my mileage. Hour and a half. So I might have 10 to 15 minutes left, maybe. I have done good time today. So we'll see how long the battery lasts. It's not as cold as it has been also. So I want to take a moment to thank you for watching. In case it does turn off, click like and subscribe. I just hit 5 miles. 1 hour 33 minutes. Now this is Saint Laurent and Son. This is the construction company we saw digging up that area downtown by that Norman Bates house. This is the company doing it. So very nice walk today. So that was nice to give my cousin a hug. Hadn't seen her for a while. So it's nice to be walking. I'm glad we're having kind of a winter thaw. It's going to be warmer as each day goes on until the end of next week. And then when it gets cold again, it'll still be in the mid-30s. So we're actually going to have almost 50 Saturday. That's going to be nice because it's going to be partly cloudy, partly sunny, whatever you want to call it. Should be nice. I just wanted to get a good workout today with a good pace. Walking through the woods, I get a good workout, but it's different. There's more leg burn, there's more, I wanted more of a cardio walk, which, you know, walking through the woods does do that. Make no mistake. But it's different. You have spurts, so you work a lot. Really, really hard walking. And then you kind of like cool down a little. This is more consistent in the entire walk. And I just prefer it. So we're coming up on Thorn Crag. Thorn Crag Bird Sanctuary. It's the official name of it, or what it used to be on that sign. The sign down the road says it a little different. It says it is a nature sanctuary or nature preserve or something like that. You'd think I'd remember by now, but how many times I've walked by it. Thorn Crag Nature Sanctuary. That's what it is. It's on the sign right there. So, I did not know that I could do a 5-mile walk into City Hall. Keep that in mind. If I ever have anything to mail at the post office and it's a nice day for a walk, might do that. Post office is on the block over from the City Hall area, so there's a lot less criminality. Just a block over, you got more open spaces and not so many places where people congregate, if you know what I mean. Less people to walk by and look like food, in other words. That doesn't mean you won't run into somebody. So again, click like or subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'm guessing the battery is going to end at the end of this road here, or just around when I get to Val's Drive-In, which I turn it off when I get there anyway, so I don't reveal where we live. So we live a ways past it. I never record past that point for a reason. And there is that big rock right there I want to go check out when this thaws out. Looks like it overlooks part of the city. It's not that high, but Lewiston dips in a valley towards the river, so might have a good view up there. Won't know till we look. All right, so continuing on, onward and upward. Definitely turned out to be a nice day to walk. Check my peripheral vision, listen for traffic, Sometimes those electric vehicles, you don't hear them. So it's always better to trust your peripheral vision rather than your ears, but use both.